Hello, Linda here from Barlates Body Blitz, back with another 10-minute tone. Minnie is not in the studio today. She's outside somewhere in the wilderness and wouldn't come when I called her, so we're going to have to work out without her. Today we're going to be doing an hourglass workout focusing on the obliques, on the hips, as well as the glutes. We'll be alternating between pretzel style exercises and glute bridge elevating on a chair. If you do not want to elevate, you don't need to. I'm not using any other equipment, but if you want to intensify, why not add some light ankle weights, or you could even hold some weights on your hips for the glute bridge section. So let's set ourselves up for the first exercise. I want you to put this knee in line with your belly button and this knee in line with your hip or further back. Now rotate your hips to the front by squeezing the underside of that glute. Keep that contraction and keep your hips both facing the front. Here you should already feel engaged. Now if this is too much for you, the lower you go down to the side, the easier it's going to get. So if you want to stay in the advanced option, stay up here with me. All we're going to do is start lifting the knee up and down. Now as you lift the knee, contract further into that glute. Keep that tuck of the hips forward, so you're pushing those hips to the front, and it's a tiny motion. You're just barely lifting that knee. Up and down, up and down. Two more like this. And as I said, you can be all the way down here. Now lift the toe up and down, up and down. Still tucking the hip, tummies are still in. Nice upright posture, just lifting that foot off the mat, rotating on your knee. And if you need a mat underneath your knee, please do so. Up and down, 3, 2, 1. Now lifting the shape of the leg, the entire leg up and tap, up and tap. Do not let your leg come forward like this. Keep it, imagine there's an imaginary line there. You're keeping your knee behind that line. Squeezing, tucking your hips forward, up and tap. If this is too much, come down here. You'll find your range of motion can be a lot higher here. Just 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to add on, we're going to lift, extend, in and down. This is going to be a lot tougher because the longer lever always adds much more intensity. So if you need to go further down to the side, you can do it. Just do not let your leg creep to the front. Keep your hips square to the front. Okay, what I mean is don't turn your hip up like this to the ceiling and see how my knee then follows suit. Keep it square. A few more of these. 3, 2, keep breathing. 1. Okay, deep breath in. Last little bit before we move to a glute bridge section. Extend that leg in line with your hip. Try not to put too much weight, but a little bit of a lean, and just up and tap. Up and tap, hips to the front. Squeeze the underside of the glute. Up and tap, up and tap. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Okay, we're going to come into a glute bridge segment before we do the other side. So your legs are going to be at approximately 90-degree angles to the chair. You can either have them directly on the edge like I'm going to have them, or if you prefer to have your feet on completely, you can. We're just going to lift our hips. That same tucking motion. Tuck your hips forward. So it's almost like you're tucking your hips to ribs. And make sure that everything else in your upper body is relaxed and square. And from here, all we're doing is tucking and pushing up a little bit. Tuck and push up. So we're already quite far off the mat. Tuck and push up. Tuck and push up. It's so small. It's a tiny little motion, blowing out all the air, tucking and feeling your hamstrings, especially if you want to flex your feet. You're going to feel your hamstrings more. Feel the underside of the glutes by tucking and squeezing the underside of the glutes, and really feeling your thighs for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down. Now we're going to do a larger range of motion. So keep the slight tuck in your hips, but thrust all the way up and tap. All the way up and tap. So this should feel a lot easier. All the way up and tap. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now bring your legs all the way together. Knees are touching, ankles are touching. Once again, that little tuck, hips to ribs, and it's up and down, a tiny motion, up and down. Push up and down. Really tight on those inner thighs. You should feel your inner thighs, your hamstrings, your glutes, so tough. And if you want to do this whole thing on the mat, you're doing exactly the same thing, but your feet are not up. Push up and down. Push up and down, still tucking. A few more like this, keep going. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down for a second. We're going to stretch it out. What we're going to do is we're going to come up and kick one leg, stretching it, come down. Come up, kick the other leg towards your body. Help yourself with your arms by pushing into your hands. Down and kick. Down and kick. It should feel like a nice stretch. Down and kick. 3, 2, and last one. And down. Nice job. So we're doing that pretzel now to the other side. So line this knee up with your belly button, line this knee up in line with your hip or further behind. Now push the underside of the glutes forward and rotate this hip. So you're facing directly to the front. Now all you're going to do is pick up the knee, rotating on your foot. Keep that hip to the front, squeeze that glute up, tiny up. So you being in this upright position, you should feel all the way up the side body. If it's too much, come down here. 3, 2, 1. Now keep the knee down and just rotate up with the foot. Rotate up. You should naturally be able to keep your hip forward more easily in this position. Rotate up. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lifting the shape of the leg up and down. It can be tiny. It does not have to lift high, but I want your hip to the front. Squeeze the underside of the glute up. Tummies are in, up. If it's too much, come down here, but then if you are down here, lift it higher because you've got a larger range of motion there. Go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm just going to move a little bit because I might kick my chest. Stay here, keep the tuck. It's up, extend, in and down. Up, extend, kneecap to the front. Do not turn your hip up to the ceiling so that your knee ends up turning to the ceiling. It's up, extend, in and down. Are you squeezing the underside of your glute? Extend, in and down. 3 more. The more you use your core instead of leaning on your arm, the more you're going to engage your obliques, that waistline area. This is the last one. Up, extend, in and down. I hope your leg's not creeping forward. It's not here, is it? Keep it back. Deep breath in, extend the leg. Kneecap to the front, turn those hips, squeeze the underside of the glute, tiny up and down. Tiny up and down. I know in this case it is tough, so you can lean a little bit more if you need to. Tiny up and down. Tiny up and down. Come on. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're finishing with some more glute bridge. You can definitely do this section on the mat if you're getting a bit tired. We're going to bring our heels together but our knees apart. Tummies are in. We're going to come up and close, out and down. Tuck your hips up and close, out and down. So as you're tucking up, you're squeezing the underside of the glutes. Up and squeeze, squeeze, and down. Up, tuck and squeeze, squeeze, and down. Up and close. Come on. Just breathe. Breathe and squeeze. Breathe and squeeze. You should feel your hips. You should feel your inner thighs. You should feel your outer thighs. It's all happening, and definitely those glutes. 3, 2, last one. Let's just do tiny out and in at the top. Tiny out and in. Keep those hips tucked. Keep your belly button drawn in and squeeze the underside of the glutes. Out and in, out and in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everything together. Push up really high, tuck those hips, squeeze the glutes and hold. This is where we finish. Deep breaths, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Amazing job. Bring those knees in and rock a little bit side to side. Definitely felt my hamstrings so much. I don't know what it is about elevating glute bridge, but it always tends to get into the hamstrings more. You can elevate on a chair, you can elevate on a step bench, you can elevate on a sofa, you can elevate on a wall, which is a completely different thing because your feet are going to push into the wall instead of downwards. You can elevate on a fit ball. That one is a great one because it really means you have to use so much more core stability. Figure 8 stretch. Other side. This stretch always gets me on my dominant side, so tight. It's a good one to hold, as well as pigeon pose is a great one to hold in front of the TV, as long as you're nice and warm beforehand. So good. Okay, let's just sit cross-legged and stretch over to the side. Stretch your side body. Definitely felt that all along the side there. Cinching in the obliques as well as the hips. Great little 10-minute workout to really just heat up the body and get all of your lower body burning as well, for anything from the waist down burning. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you felt that burn, and I will see you again very soon for another 10-minute tone. Bye for now.